Yo, what's going on, everyone? Brian and Jim here with Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to our last Road Rash game review. We're checking out Rash Jailbreak for PlayStation.
Originally released in 2000 on the PlayStation, this was developed by EA Redwood Shores and published by, well, EA. It eventually got a port to the Game Boy Advance. Alright. Yeah, eventually went to the Game Boy Advance in 2003. This is the last Road Rash game of all time. Could this be the reason we haven't seen one in 16 years? Let's find out.
Wow, so we're up to the year 2000 and the graphics look like this. Don't get me wrong, they really tried to differentiate the sprites and the towns and the areas, but just look at this game. Now let's just do a, once again, quick comparison to the Road Rash remake, the first one on the PS1. It's crazy how weird this game looks, and weird is the best thing I can use, because it's kind of blocky, chunky looking. The colors, I'll give them credit, there's a lot of color variations, but the game just looks odd. Considering the previous game, Road Rash 3D, we thought looked okay, this game just isn't going to cut it. We do appreciate the variations in the sprites, but once again, the level designs, they're really bland. Sure, you have maybe a few more added buildings with a few more added obstacles and more people in your way, but come on, guys. And the FMVs, they are such a goddamn letdown in this game. Yes, there are a few FMVs, but guess what? They're 95% all centered around this joke between Spaz and Punt. You know why they call him Punt? You want to fucking know why they call him Punt? Watch this video.
Who's the little fella?
Punt.
Punt? What do you call him that for?
You get it? It's funny, because he's a midget and he's got horns on. Fuck. This game just...
Right.
What?
If he's a midget and he's got horns, is he Hornswoggle? Ah!
No terrible post-attitude WWE jokes in this house! Anyway, it's just the ongoing joke in every cutscene, and you don't even get that many cutscenes. So, that really pissed me off. We both gave it a 4. As far as beers, fuck it. I'm starting us off with 3. 1 for the shittier graphics, 1 for the lame-ass jokes, and 1 for Jim not accepting the fact that WWE is shit now.
What? Hey! Alright, the sound. Once again, there is a ton of licensed music in this game. But, to be honest, it's a lot of punk, it's a lot of metal, it's a lot of hard rock, and the only band I recognized was Chevelle, so that's the one I'm going to mention. The sound effects are weird, kind of like the graphics, where everything's just, it's more subdued, but it's also muddier, and not as clear as it was before. There's some voice work in the game, which is the real mixed bag, because certain game modes you'll hear, say when you're playing as the cops trying to get people, the voice work with that's fine, but when you're racing and you're going against other racers, they all have maybe 2 or 3 different sayings, and you're going to hear them over and over and over and over again. And they don't sound good the first time, and by your maybe 3rd race, you're going to be absolutely sick of it. While it's probably technically on par with the other games, because those damn little quips, we had to bump it down to 6s. And as far as beer goes, I'm going to add 2 beers, because Jesus Christ do those quips get annoying. Fuck Hornswoggle. Ow! What?
What'd I say? I'm gonna be moving on to ball tap soon if you don't stop.
Hornswoggle.
I warned you.
Oh, it wasn't worth it.
You all heard me. I warned him. But he wanted that ball tap or nut shot, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, while Jim's incapacitated, let me talk about the control. This is similar to Road Rash 64, where it technically doesn't have that much lag, but it still feels kind of muddy. Now granted, I actually think this game is a hell of a lot smoother than the 64 game, and they did add in a lot more options for your attacks. So now you have this super sweet ass ninja kick. Just watch this shit. It's like giving someone sweet chin music from a motorcycle. There's nothing better than that. Sure, you have a better punch, but that one takes a little too long to do. And depending on your weapon, you're going to have to use a different attack method. Like Jim said, there are those little quips you can say as the person, which is its own button. And it's kind of amusing, especially if you're beating your friend, like when I beat Jim in this game.
Hey!
But other than that, everything is exactly what you would expect from a Road Rash game, so they really didn't do anything that different. But it's just a solid racing game overall. So I gave it a 6, Jim gave it a 5. As far as beer, I'm gonna add 1 just for that sweet-ass kick.
The gameplay. You know what? This game actually, despite its flaws with presentation, stays pretty fun. Luckily, it's actually a pretty smooth running game as well, so you're not really hindered in any way. There's a lot of different game modes, and some are really inventive. One of our favorites is actually where you're a cop trying to either chase down a specific person or getting a certain number, some could say a quota, of racers to bust. And this is actually especially fun in multiplayer mode. There's also different stuff, like there's a co-op mode, which is pretty fun, where you're the 2 characters from the single player mode, and you can be the driver, and player 2 will be Hornswoggle, and basically the midgy little person, dwarf guy, whatever's socially acceptable these days.
What the fuck is a midgy? What the fuck does that even mean?
Brian, I'm trying to be socially acceptable.
No, you're just fucking up your words. Midget!
No, I'm not.
You want the ball tap?
You should. Alright, so basically there's a cool mechanic where both the racer and the midgie have to work together in order to...
Keep pressing your luck.
Where you and the passenger have to lean and actually really work together to lean into the car with the sidecar and to make your turn successfully, and also in combat. It's fun to work together. Besides that, the racing action's straight up fun, even though there's definitely more of just a combat game than a racer at this point. To sum it all up, we gave it 7s, mostly because of the fun of the multiplayer. The single player doesn't really grab you as much as the other ones does. And as far as beer goes, I'll add 2 beers for the racer and the
midget
little person. Midgie. Ow! Oh, thank God, just a slap.
So, Jim actually covered a lot of the originality, and I'm fine with that, so I can try and keep it short. This game did offer those different modes. It offered those new super attacks, like I said, like that ninja attack, and they even offered in super weapons, which are just the same weapon before, but they're one-hit kills, I'll call them. The game did feel different, and it felt much more arcadey than any other Road Rash title we've played, so we had to give it some points there, but still, at the end of the day, it's your basic Road Rash with some new options. When it comes to scores, we both gave it a 6. This game did offer enough that it felt completely like a new experience, and it was kind of nice to see Road Rash go out on such a drastically different bang. As far as beers, I'm not going to add any, because kudos for this game going out like this.
When it comes to replayability, I can keep this short because we've basically talked about everything. There's a lot of game modes, there's a lot of new game modes, and they're fun enough that you're going to want to come back to them. So, we gave the game 8s. Probably the highest we've given in, the whole series?
Pretty much.
And when it comes to beer, you know what? You don't even need any beer when it comes to replayability. You've had enough already.
So overall, the biggest thing this game suffers from is a really shitty presentation with some sounds that can really annoy the hell out of you. But if you can get over that, it is a fun game to play with your buddies. If you're playing by yourself, just like the 64, you're probably not going to have as much fun with it. But there's something so satisfying as playing the police mode and just hitting your friend in the head with that billy club. I mean, I just love that shit. So, as you see from our scores, we both gave it a 6. It's just the goofy fun that Road Rash series has always been known for, and it exemplifies it through those goddamn silly multiplayer modes. Even the one when you're co-oping with Spaz and Punk. So, when we combined all of our scores together, holy shit, it comes out to a 6 as well. So it's exactly on par with how we feel. Had this game updated its graphics, gave some better sounds, it would have been a probably better, well-received PlayStation game. But a lot of gamers are going to go their entire lives and probably never play it. So, if you're feeling adventurous and you can find it for a reasonable price, give it a try. But just make sure you play it with some buddies. When it comes to beer pairing, since this series started out based in California, I thought it was appropriate to wrap up our beer pairing with the Bear Republic Brewing Company's Red Rocket Ale. As another California-based brewery, this is probably one of my favorite West Coast American ambers. It's really flavorful, It's got a nice, just enough hoppy flavor to mix with the sweet malts that it's just a perfect balance. And at 6.8%, it is really one of the strongest red ales you're going to drink. And don't be fooled, this beer can sneak up on you fast, so be careful when pairing it with this game. But once again, the game is so arcadey, what the hell, get drunk, enjoy yourself. But remember to drink your beers and play your games responsibly. As always, guys, thanks for checking out this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you give us a thumbs up, leave some comments, or better yet, why not subscribe? Till next time, guys, cheers.